Vanessa Braxton.
Pardon me and my tone. You can't step to my throne. They ain't working like me. I did this on my own. You asking where we been, huh? I don't know where to begin, huh? All this dirt on my skin. I just came here to win.
Now, so you can ask him. But first off, I'll let Jackie hit it. Give everybody a little heads up as to who you are.
Y'all hear me?
Yes.
You're looking at the #1 and #2 legal licensed black distillers in America. I got my license to make liquor in 2012. I was the only licensed legal black distiller at the time. Vanessa was right behind me, really like the first legal licensed woman black distiller.
In the
Give
US,
her some
yes.
love. I am from Bed-Stuy. I live a mile from here. So Bed-Stuy do or die is a real thing.
Yeah.
Although I really think there should be more options between do and die. Like, there should be a range of shit between that, right? I make a version of the red drink that I call Sorel. It is the most awarded liqueur in the country by a factor of magnitude. No
Yes.
one else comes close.
Yes.
And most of y'all don't know that, which is a problem. I'm living right here in your hood. I'm America's first legal licensed black distiller. I make the most awarded liqueur in the country, and y'all don't know that. You do now. How do we fix it? Vanessa, tell them about yourself.
Oh, thank you, Jackie. I love Jackie.
Yo,
You
for
can
real,
just put the mic down, because when me and Jackie get up on this stage, that's
we
it.
go.
We're just running, right? So Jackie and I, this is how we've known each other
We
for
go back.
over a decade.
Yeah.
We've been doing this a long time before any of y'all had a brand.
This is
It's just-
mother. This is
You
mother.
know, yeah. And I'm still the only black woman with a still that's
Thank
still
you.
grinding, that has
Show
a
her some
distillery.
love.
Yes. You know, it's been, it's been, I can't believe it's over a decade, but it's a joyous decade. And doing this with Jackie, come
Yo.
full circle again, because we used to be out there on the streets
And
hustling.
it was just us.
Yeah.
This didn't exist.
Yeah, it didn't.
This did not. There was no black people. None.
We used
Nada.
to do a Christmas event on Dean Street, on the
Yeah.
street. In the street. And it used
Yeah.
to just be me and him. We're talking
Yeah.
about 2013.
Yeah.
And at the time, too, you got to realize, and I listen to a lot of the brands that are here, and it's just melancholy to me because Jackie will tell you, I'm up in Albany passing laws. I'm at Congress passing laws, liquor laws,
Vanessa is changing shit on a systemic level.
with laws for brands. So you guys can have a brand. There were laws wasn't in place for us to distill or to have,
no,
we
no.
had to write them. Just recently, I'm just gonna say, and it's important for a brand to understand, we just got the parity law passed 3 weeks ago. Hochul just signed the bill, signed it. And what you may not know about parity, it's so important. I'm a distiller. He's a distiller. Well, he's not distilling nor he hired somebody else, but I'm gonna be distilling his shit soon. So we had that conversation. Ooh, I can't curse. Edit that.
Fuck,
Okay.
you can't curse.
But at the end of the day, listen, we're tier 1 manufacturers.
Yeah.
You have to go to a manufacturer, a distiller, to get your juice.
Yeah.
One way or another. Okay, you cannot have a brand unless you go to somebody who's the plug to make it. And we're the plug. By the way, did I say that I'm making Ron Isley's Brandy, who's coming here tomorrow. Contagious Brandy. Yes.
Wait. I want to say this so everyone hears me for real. If you are planning on launching a liquor brand, you really need to have Vanessa make your booze. She's really freaking good at it. And you know for a fact it's going to come through with the culture.
Yes. Thank you. I appreciate that.
That's real.
And I didn't pay him to say that, y'all.
Ah.
No, but it's very important to me. And Jackie, he was hands-on in the very beginning just as well before, you know, what happened with, you know, with the storm, because that's how he ended up losing his distillery. But he was in the trenches making it. We couldn't find anybody to make our stuff. Let me be honest.
Yo, for the first, I didn't have a filling machine for the first 6 months. It was me in a distillery in Red Hook, hand filling bottles with a lemonade pitcher.
Yeah.
Now we're in 35 states.
Yep. Yep. And I started out co-distilling with a distillery in Oregon. And I bought equipment. And by the time I did that, I was $1,050,000 in.
Yeah.
This is 10 years ago.
Yeah.
It now costs $2 million to really set up a distillery when time you're done.
Minimum.
Yeah.
Let's be clear about this. You want to launch a distillery? They want you to put the physical address of your lease on your application, which means they expect you to be paying rent on an empty space while you wait for your application to be approved. Except your space is not empty because they want you to put the serial numbers of your equipment on your application.
That was crazy.
Which can take up to what, a year and a half?
Yep.
So you can spend all this money before you've made one dime, and you don't even know if your application's approved yet.
Yeah.
That's what I love about Brooklyn, the non-consensual sharing of music. Yeah.
But
yeah.
it's the truth. You know, back in the day, they've changed laws now. But I had to physically build my distillery before I actually got the license. That means you had to have your still, you had to have everything. You had to spend $1 million up front. Before the TTB and before your state would say, okay, you're official. Now things have changed because we've changed those laws.
Because she changed those laws.
Okay, so the parity law is, we all know beer and wine, right? The excise tax, they pretty much pay nothing. But distilled spirits still pay the same excise tax as if we're producing like Bacardi. And we're not. We're a craft. And now you have people that are moving over to RTD that wants distilled spirits, not malted, but we have to pay a higher price.
Right.
So now the parity law is, in New York, we're being treated just like beer and wine. So now we're getting a $6.34 credit for the 9-liter case or anything, which is very important because that money comes back to our community. People don't realize that this game is not just about your brand, it's also about the money.
Yes.
And it's about the taxes and where the money goes. When you buy his brand or my brand, that excise tax that we paid comes back to our community. It's important. So when you buy in Grey Goose from France, that money is going to go to France. It's not coming back here.
And when she say the money come back to the community, yo, Sunshine, no, I got a route I run every weekend in my neighborhood. I stop by Happy Bud, I stop by Happy Cork, I stop by my incense shop, I stop by my flower shop. I spend my money in my neighborhood every week.
Right.
Every week.
And look up, and for the brands who are here and in other states, you know, we have grants. That money comes back in a grant. New York State has a grant for distillers and brands. So does Florida, so does California. I think Michigan is implementing one. The money is there. There's also an international branded program that if you're exporting your brand, the U.S. government called XM.gov will give you up to $320,000 for marketing outside of the United States of America. We have to stay on top of the information and find out the laws and find out where the money is there. It's there for us.
And who's telling you this stuff?
I'm doing the research.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Because ain't no one volunteering this information for you. No one's telling you how to do this.
We're only sharing our experience. And it's a lot of experience on this stage.
Yeah.
You know, good, bad, and ugly.
Just so you'll know what this really looks like, I woke up in New Orleans this morning.
Say what?
I woke up in New Orleans this morning.
Mentally?
No, physically.
Oh, okay.
I woke up in New Orleans because we're doing my national sales training. I left my hotel 9 o'clock in the morning, got on my flight. I'm lucky my flight landed because the airports are fucked right now. Went straight from the airport to Grand Central Station where they're debuting a Sorrel cocktail at Luke's Lobster. Got there 2 hours late.
Wow.
Yo, this is dope, right? So we talk about systemic oppression, and it's real. But the thing I always tell people is that systems are maintained by people. They can be changed by people.
Yes.
Luke's Lobster is as wide as you can get. But in Maine, the state of Maine, there's no law saying you can't get a license to fish for lobster if you're black. What they have is a law that says that licenses are grandfathered in. So if your father or your grandfather had that license, you get it automatically. And if you're black and you don't have money to rent a boat and money to actually like do the other stuff, it's practically impossible. Luke's Lobster set up this program where they are actively helping black students, high school students. They're picking them up on a Saturday morning. They're taking them out on their boats. They're teaching them how to fish for lobster. They're helping them with the paperwork. And the beautiful part about it is, if those kids get that license, it's grandfathered into their families for all time. Every Sorrel cocktail they sell, $1 goes to support their program. Right? So I show up at Luke's Lobster at Grand Central Station an hour ago after getting off the plane 2 hours ago. I shoot a cocktail video for Grand Central Station. It's on Instagram right now. I downed 4 cocktails. I haven't eaten today, and now I'm here.
Amen.
But like that's what it really looks like.
Yep. Yep.
It's also
So
why
next question.
I haven't had to ask one question yet. I just let you guys go, and there it was.
But this is me and Vanessa. You know how we do.
You know, and it's fine. It was a reason why it was good to have you guys last. It was, you know, it made it a little bit easier for me. So I'll say this. Now, you know, we're theoretically post stuff like COVID. For your businesses, what are your new challenges? What are your new opportunities?
You first.
COVID was good for me. As a distiller, I was making hand sanitizer for the Department of Homeland Security. They were sending a check. They were giving me a credit card. So I never stopped. I just had to bring in, I stopped for 3 weeks because I was scared like everybody else. But I got that call, you know, from American Distillers Institute, you know, from when the president said, we got to do what we got to do, all distillers. So I did my part, you know, and I did my part making those hand sanitizers for, not just for my community, it was for everybody, but I did it for the Department of Homeland Security. I had a contract with them, and it was crazy. So for me, that was good. You know, I used that money to buy more equipment.
Hey.
Of course.
More equipment, cash, and I'm glad I did, you know, because my challenges now is that now I've moved into automation.
Hey.
You know, I can do, you know, one of my machines can do 576,000 bottles a month, and I got 2 of them. You know, now my challenges are I'm busting from the seams. Some of you came to my distillery. I got no place, I can't move, and I'm trying to buy more real estate, you know, with this liquor money that I've made. But it's really hard because either one, they don't want to sell it to me, even if I gave them asking price, or 2, you know, they want a ridiculous amount of money, you know, or 3, as I'm putting a contract on the place, I'm already, you know, overgrowing the space that I'm actually buying because I'm buying more equipment. That's a good thing. When you get to, you know, like Jamari said, it takes 10 years We're in it over 10 years now.
Yeah.
But now I'm seeing the side of growth, exponential growth through expansion. And also helping my clients, like Ron Isley.
Hey.
And Trina Baxton and him and you. So that way I can put out great products and also help my community. Because I got my 2 nephews right there. You see them right there? Carl Braxton. Straight from East New York, Brooklyn. They come out every day. They come out 4 days a week to come work with their auntie. And they learn. Mm-hmm. This is a gift from me to them so they can pass it on to their children. Because that's the only way you're going to learn about distilling is if somebody gives it to you.
For real.
For real. And it's valuable. Go ahead, Jackie.
All right, so to put COVID into perspective, I need to rewind back a little bit. In 2015, I signed a multi-million-dollar deal to take Sorel National. They reneged. In 2016, I signed a second deal worth millions of dollars to take my brand national. They reneged too. How long can a company go without income? Yeah, exactly. I ended up homeless. 2017, 2016, I spent a year and a half on the street. I have this distinct memory of waking up in December 2017 to the sensation of snowflakes melting on my face, which sounds idyllic except I live in New York City. I was sleeping outside. I woke up in a pile of garbage. And my first thought when I woke up was not, I need to get somewhere warm. My first thought was, I need to charge my phone because I have an essay that I'm writing that's due today, and if I miss my deadline, I'm not going to have money to get an apartment. 2020 was interesting. Everybody was home with COVID, and then George Floyd was murdered. And all of a sudden, Black Lives Matter, right? And I get a call from a buddy of mine who's the restaurant critic at Esquire, and he says, Jack, do people know that you're America's first legal licensed black distiller? I said, Jeff, nobody cares about that. He said, oh, well, Black Lives Matter. And it was this tiny window in time when everybody wanted to know what black people did. And he arranged for an article to be written about me in Esquire magazine about what it's like to be the first legal licensed black distiller. And renewed investor interest, 2021, partnered with Uncle Nearest, $2 million investment. In the less than 2 years since we partnered with Uncle Nearest, again, we launched 35 states, and we've won 70 gold or better medals in the last 18 months.
Nice.
And when I tell you that we have won these medals, my team now takes it for granted because we expect to win, right? But there are brands that go their entire life cycle and they're proud that they won that one gold medal. I was in Aspen 2 weeks ago, and I had my creative team do a brand new banner to show what we've done, and I had to tell my team, leave off the gold and the double gold. Just leave everything double gold and better on our menu, because that's how fucking deep we won. And my feeling about it is, we've always been this good. We have always been this good. We just haven't had this level of opportunity before. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So COVID, I came out fine.
Yeah. Well, you were out in the street, you survived, so COVID wasn't going to kill you, obviously.
Nah. Yo, Bed-Stuy, do or die.
Right.
Yeah.
There it is. It's all right. Well. So my next question is, what changes, and this goes into what you've done with the laws here in New York, what changes do you either see coming with U.S. distribution of spirit, or what do you think needs to be done in order to make it easier? Because it's in its own way, on top of all the other issues, money, space, brand recognition, just the fact that like I got people I want to sell it to, they'll want to buy it and I can't sell it to them. And so what are your thoughts on that?
Can I start this one, V?
Yes, you can. I'll go after you.
So I was in New Orleans this morning because, like I said, I'm training my national sales team, and here's how that happened. When I relaunched with the UN in 2021, Fawn Weaver offered me access to her national sales team, which let me spread to 35 states in 18 months. Because anyone who does this will tell you, if you do not have feet on the street, if you don't have your people representing your brand in your territories, you can't afford to be in those places. My access with Uncle Nero's sales team ended in May of 2023. It ended last month. But I have been preparing for this. There's an organization in New Orleans called Turning Tables, which serves one purpose, and that is to advance the careers of black bartenders. They give them education, but they couldn't give them experience. So we are now partnered with Turning Tables to provide brand training, sales experience, and distributor management to bartenders who are embedded in their communities. They'll work on a point system. It's all catch what you kill. If they get any market up to the point where it can sustain a local brand ambassador, we're hiring them. And we're building out city by city. The launch markets are New Orleans, Atlanta. I don't know why we say Atlanta, like the T in Atlanta is just doing no good. It's like the G in lasagna. New Orleans, Atlanta, and DC. But we got Detroit, we got Miami, we got all of these cities that speak the same language, that have people like us in their communities, doing their thing, looking for the opportunities lined up. And we are going to do two things. We're going to first sell a shitload of booze. But more important than that, we are going to give a whole generation of black and brown spirits professionals the training and the experience they need to go do whatever the fuck they want.
Amen.
So my goal is to make sure that 5 years from now, 10 years from now, there's going to be a whole bunch of people that look like us at every distributor, at every one of these big conglomerates, changing the system. We are Theseus' ship. We change the system by being inside it and going, y'all not needed no more. We got this.
Yes. I'm on the other side of that. Y'all ever heard of gangsters move in silence?
Huh.
That's me. Jackie will tell you that.
Yo.
For
if
me,
Vanessa want to cut you, you won't know unless she wants you to feel it. That's real.
I look at it from the manufacturing view. Liquor's been really good to me, I'm going to be honest. I made very good money. But I put that money into other things, like real estate. I own 54 commercial properties across the U.S. And have a family office as well. Right. Now, family office, a lot of y'all gonna want my money. But I'm looking at the real estate and investing in our communities. I own a 22,000 square foot rick house in Gary, Indiana, that I have 400 barrels there. And I lease it to one of the biggest whiskey companies. I'm not gonna say their names, but they use it for their overflow. But now I have a license there, so I get to have primary resource in the state of Indiana, and now I can bring in other brands. Same thing I own in Detroit. Where's Lazar? I own in Michigan and Detroit. So now that we're implementing in Detroit, I'll just build a distribution center and bring all the brands and everybody through it. We have to own the real estate to to create an infrastructure to push our own brands and others just as well.
Yep.
Same thing here in New York. We have to play into a vertical game of ownership. It's not just the brand, it's just not just the manufacturing.
Right.
It's all assets and it's tangible assets. That's what this game is about.
Yeah.
It puts you into another market. I have 15 acres in California. Yeah, we grow some weed, but I'm growing agave because when the industry changes and y'all ain't got no more agave for your damn tequila,
Thank
come to
you.
Black Mama. So for me, I'm looking at the future of what I can implement, because this is a legacy not just for me and for my nephews and for my kids, it's for us all. I want Jackie, like if things fall short, I want him to be able to come to me and say, listen, I want to be in
Godmother.
this market.
May I please ask a favor of you?
But I'm gonna be able to say, I got you. I ain't gonna drop you like somebody did Puffy. I'm gonna be honest.
Yo, for real. So just to be clear, all of liquor distribution in this country is rooted in mafia and gangsters.
Yes. Allegedly.
Not allegedly. This is the closest thing you get to a legal gangster is Vanessa. She's straight up gangster.
And they know it too.
And they know this shit.
But I do business with them.
On your terms.
Right. Now, everybody don't have this magazine. Let me get this magazine. You see
I
this?
thought she was about to pull out a clip.
No.
Right? Everybody don't
I
have
got
this
this-
magazine. Wow, wow, wow.
And the way I reach from the back, it's like my old days. But it's, and no one here ducked. So y'all are gangster. Oh, they ducked. The rest of y'all just like, let me see what's coming out. But you see this magazine, Distillers Magazine, it's a prominent magazine. I'm the first black anything to be on the cover of their magazine. And this gentleman writes for that magazine, okay? The other thing, let me pull out another gap. Hold up. I want y'all to give it up, stand up, gentlemen. Delta Dirt Distillery, another black-owned distillery. They are in this month's Artisan Spirits, okay? I don't know if you wrote the article. No?
I wrote one that's in Distiller. I got them in there too.
Right. But the thing is, and then we have another black distillery that's here, right, from New England, Sweet Waters. I didn't even know there was black people up in New England, in New Hampshire. So we're growing, but it's important. But we own the real estate. You see how that plays into this part?
Yo, if you don't own it, it owns you.
Yeah.
I will never forget 2018. I was in New Orleans at this liquor conference called Tales of the Cocktail, and they've got 20 of the highest profile people of color, black and brown, in our industry at one table. And they're introducing themselves around the table. They leave me for last, which is always a terrible idea. And I stand up and I go, I'm Jack from Brooklyn. I'm America's first legal licensed distiller. And they start clapping. And I said, don't clap. How is that a good thing? We've been doing this for centuries. How is it a good thing that I'm the only one of you motherfuckers that owns something?
Right.
I said...
You're supposed to say mother, father. Look at them. You just hurt their ears.
They could bleep that shit out. Oh, we're live. I guess you can't fucking bleep it out there.
Ooh!
I said to this room of dope human beings, I mean, these are the top black and brown people in hospitality. I said to them, you all have great jobs making great money, but there are parties being thrown this week and that are worth more than all of you combined. And then I dropped my favorite bomb. This was 2018. I said in 1818, 99% of the black people in this country work for a white person. How many of y'all are working for a white person right now? If you don't own it, it owns you.
Yeah. And we're not saying that we don't want to partner with white people. But we just want to get our shares. That's all we want to do. We want to get our what is that, 40 acres and a mule. You know what I'm saying? But we want to be able to spread the wealth and make sure that the next generation has the same opportunities. That's why it's important to pass the laws. It's important for us to make sure that brands have direct-to-consumer. He's talking about direct-to-consumer. Let me tell you shit, I ship to anybody and you ain't stopping me. I got 65,000 customers that buy my shit online and wherever they can. But also, I have a comparative brand. We all know Black Mama Teas, Black Mama Coffees, Black Mama Agaves. So I play in a space where it's non-alcoholic and alcoholic. My non-alcoholic are consumable brands that starts from the infancy. My thing I look at is the life cycle.
Right.
You're too young to drink, so you're gonna drink my tea,
But I'm gonna hook you now.
right? You're gonna drink my tea in the very beginning of your life cycle, because mommy and daddy drank tea. As you become older into a teenager, you might get into coffee like my kids do, but you're gonna have my agave, which is a low glycemic index. But then when you turn 21, you might have my volume
Come to
1.
mama.
Right.
Come
but
to
hold
mama.
up. But hold up. I make a brand that's just for around the college areas. That's the beautiful thing of being a distiller. You can make anything. Right? I can make whiskey. I can make anything. You want it, you come into the plug. You ask me for something, I'm going to supply it to you for the right price.
Now that's some
But-
gangster shit.
Right. But that's the beauty of being a manufacturer, when you can supply and provide anything to anybody at any given time.
Yup.
That's the beauty of it. So think about it. When you get into this industry, I want you guys to think all the way back to the seed, not the poppy seed, but the seed for the grain, to the glass, to what he does. Because it's a life cycle. Because one way or another, Black Mama's gonna get you.
You tell him, babe.
So now, sticking with the issue of shipping and distribution, and I asked this before, but I was wondering, is like outside the U.S. a viable source of customers? Because then obviously you have different liquor rules, whole new environment. You have less established players depending on where you're going.
Yeah.
You know, and you'll see this in whether it's bourbon or vodka. There are brands that dominate here and don't dominate in other countries.
Yeah.
And you can get in that space and you could be the one. You could be the brand that everybody looks to. You could be top 5
Can I
or
answer?
higher.
Go, babe. Do your thing.
Okay, so I already shipped to the Caribbean, UK. I'm getting ready to ship to Canada because I just got the Canadian license to ship to myself. Hong Kong, well, I used to do Hong Kong. But the beautiful thing about it is, it's so much easier to export
Yeah.
that we are not taking advantage of it. Let's use London as an example. Let's use London as an example. A couple of years ago, Amazon had a vendor spirits program. Did anybody know about that? They would just buy they were in the UK or in London, and they would just basically buy your brand and you would ship a container and then they would sell it. They are the largest
Wait. Say
on
that last part again. Ship how much?
a container.
A container. How many pallets in a container?
22.
Thank you.
They buy a container right to their distribution house, and they would sell online. They are the largest online retailer for liquor overseas. And they didn't have any US brands, maybe 1 or 2, if that. So it's important for us. I know you want to think about home, but because we have digital and we have online social media, it's easier to get overseas. The other thing is, you have companies you can partner with. You have the US government Everyone write down EXIM, exim.gov if you're a brand. I've been rocking with them for 8 years. They paid for me to go to Hong Kong, beer, wine, and spirits. They paid for me to go to Italy. They paid for me to go to Denmark. This is our U.S. government. And when I said they paid for everything. Hotel, staff, everything. And I did a tasting, and I got clients. We are not utilizing our tax dollars like we should.
For real.
We're not. And I'm telling you to do this because if you want your brand to survive, that's how I survived. When they didn't want my shit in the stores here, fuck you. I was going overseas and I was getting my money from there.
What happened to the no cussing rule?
I got real amped. But this is the truth. This is the absolute truth. Now I'm going to be going to Africa, Ghana, with a connection right there. I met with the African trader because they want U.S. brands. They're opening the doors. We just got to do it the right way. The laws are very strict here, but it's a little lax there, and they're opening the doors for us. And the U.S. government will pay for your marketing and distribution over there. There's grace. There's so many companies. Just go through the U.S. government program. There's also WASUTA, WUSATA.gov. I'm giving y'all real shit. You better write this down because you're not getting this anymore from me. Right. WASUTA, WUSATA. And there's one that's for the Western region. There's one for the Southern region. There's one for the Eastern region. They will assist you with any type of exporting, even with the licensing. They'll pay for your staff, everything, and they have the branded program. Take advantage of this. Please, I implore you to do it. And that's my spiel. Go ahead.
So listen, can no one take mama's stuff from her, but I will say this to you. My grandparents came from Barbados in 1920. I've had conversations with the government of Barbados who wants me to build a distillery there that they will pay for. They love the idea that 2 children went out for them 100 years ago, and 100 years later, a grandchild of Barbados has the most awarded liquor in the fucking country. They're like, bring this back home. We want this made with local hands and local ingredients.
Yeah.
Hell yes.
Do it.
Hell yes.
See? So, with that, if we're having this conversation 5 years from now, where would you like your respective businesses to be?
I'm going to be like Diageo and have a distillery just about in every state, like how they built Bullet, because I'm building in locations. I'm gonna have a distillery everywhere. That's this. In 5 years, I see myself as the Diageo, contract manufacturing, making stuff for other brands, doing it for, retailers, direct spirit programs. I'm doing it now. I just want to expand. I'm going to expand further. But I want our distribution network to be tight because we have something called Black Liquor Distribution Network building, where 9 of us have come together to set up a membership program for brands. So that way we can build the infrastructure from within to help each other. And that's going to be very important, especially if we have Pronghorn, him, Uncle Nearest, myself. If we all come together, it's a collective. It's very important to do that. So I see that in 5 years.
So, Sorrel, based on traditional Caribbean sorrel, was only really known to the Caribbean community before now.
True that.
The purpose of my company, which is called Jack from Brooklyn, is to go, how many other beverages are out there like that right now that are made by somebody's grandma, that have this great cultural history that no one has bothered to figure out how to put in a bottle? So my goal is to find these beverages, put them in bottles, and actually tell these stories of Black and brown people through these beverages. And here's the beautiful part about it. The beautiful part is, Sorrel will never be for sale. I've already had someone ask me. I did an interview with USA Today last year. They said to me, what's your number? I said, what do you mean? Listen, if someone comes to you tomorrow and says, you know, how much for Sorrel? I said, Sorrel's not for sale. Who said today said to me, if someone offers you $1 billion tomorrow, you're saying no? I said, what price you put in the suffering of my ancestors? Mm-hmm. So Sorrel will never be for sale, but other brands we do, in the last decade, Big Liquor has spent $1 trillion buying small brands. How much of that do you think is going to anyone that looks like anyone in this room?
Yeah. Yeah.
Zero.
It's real.
Nothing.
Yeah.
I'm going to build a whole portfolio of brands that have rich culture, that are delicious, that tell stories. I'm going to put them under the Jack from Brooklyn umbrella, and if the number's right, I might consider letting some of them go, because the only thing better than a 9-figure exit is multiple 9-figure exits.
Amen.
Now, with that, I'm going to open the floor to questions, because obviously people are going to have questions. You know, I expect to see hands go up. So, all right.
You great. Woo! I love Happy Court. I'm in Long Island, baby. You have my product in the store. I brought it in. Oh, Fielding? Y'all can come anytime. You got to set an appointment. But yes, you can come anytime. Absolutely. Because I'm a full production facility. You know, back in the day, you know, the laws wasn't there for us to have a tasting room until we changed the laws. So I had already had my distillery.
You changed the laws.
But yeah, you can come out. You just got to set an appointment, because I got gates and people just can't walk up in my space like that. Go ahead. Nice. Nice. DM me.
I'll give my card
Black
right
Mama
now.
Mafia. I have a card, but
Yeah.
you can DM. Yeah, you can DM me as well. And listen, that mezcal, I got some agave for you. By the way, this is how real it is. And when you learn the industry, we couldn't distill agave for a very long time in the United States. It was only maybe a couple of years ago when 45 came in. Y'all know who that is, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so, was he 45? Yeah. So, okay, so when 45 came in, him and the Republicans did change the laws, so that way all distilleries can distill agave, but we couldn't call it tequila. It's called agave spirits. You know, it's a commodity origin. They changed it into the law. You have to realize these are laws, the liquor laws. So now that we can distill agave, we can call it agave spirit. So that way we can compete with tequila, because all of the tax dollars were going to Mexico. So when so we couldn't compete. They opened the doors, so now we can compete as distillers and just get up in there. It's going to take time, but we want to have fair competition. Any more? He had another question.
No, I saw a hand go up.
Yeah. WUSATA, WUSATA.org. WUSATA. That's it? That was the only question you had?
Basically, look at it this way. You guys were ridiculously informative to the point where I almost didn't have to ask you questions.
Thank you.
So,
Yeah, somebody has a question. Oh, I like Uncle Charles. Yes. You want me to answer? You can answer.
So here's something that I know Vanessa will agree with me on. There's only two purposes in being first. Number one is make sure you're not last. And number two is make sure anyone that comes after you has it easier than you did.
No, yes.
Vanessa and myself, in our own very different ways, make sure everyone who comes after us has a different path than we did.
Yeah.
I have heard people call Sorrel the blueprint, and I've told people, nah, you deserve a better blueprint than I had. You don't have to go through what I went through. You deserve better than I did. I only get to do what I do because I stand on a mountain of sacrifices. My parents fought civil rights. My grandparents fought Jim Crow. Like, if I had those battles, I could not do what I do.
Yeah.
It is my job, and you see Vanessa doing this legally every day, to make sure that whoever comes up after me doesn't have my fight. So it's my job to make sure that you get easier access to capitalization. It's my job to make sure you get easier access to distribution. It's my job to make sure you get easier access to production. And if you're struggling with those things, it means I'm failing. And I don't like to fail. So I'm here to make sure everyone succeeds. When we do well, I do well.
Yes. And Charles, where is he? He is a big, okay, how are you gonna ask a question and leave?
then
Somebody
bounce.
go get his ass, please. Look. He giving valuable information. Where he went to go smoke or something?
Charles come back like, what'd she say?
You can roll that up later. But he is a big supporter of brands. If you go to his social media, your friend Charles, he is a very big supporter. He spends his own dollars. I mean, he really puts it out there, and I applaud you for that. Which is very important. One of the things that we have to do is educate our community.
Yeah.
It is so hard to compete with the larger brands when they're not even putting quality product out. It seems like they're brainwashing,
How
our
did
people.
Tito's become the world's biggest vodka?
I don't know, but he gonna move out in a couple of weeks with my handle program. That's what I'm talking about. I got a handle program coming out in New York.
Do that
And it's gonna say Black Mama New York Vodka. The Tito's get the F out. That's exactly what it's gonna say. But the thing about it is, as he asked, and I can say this as a distiller, in New York I get to sell direct. So I don't have, same thing with him.
Yeah.
I don't have to deal with Southern, even I had them. I eliminate the distributor. And in several different states I can do that. Maryland, DC, as a distiller you can sell direct. So guess what? I can give a better price than Tito's price for the same product, right? Because my retailers want the same thing. They're selling the Tito's handle program for $32. But what if I give it for $22?
And
I just eliminated the distributor.
And unlike Tito's, she's actually distilling it.
Right. He used to distill, but now he don't. He gets it from a bigger player, MGP. But now, we have to find niches. I call it riches in the niches. You have to find the niches to make your way through. To bring in what you want to bring in. That's how I have to look at it. I look at my customers, I look at the niches, so that way we can grow and keep our lights on. Because I gotta keep my nephews working. And y'all need to be using me as your distiller and making your brands. Seriously. Contact.
Call her.
Look, DM me. And you know what? And let me just say one thing. That gentleman right there, Joe, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but he is part of the Ron Isley's team, okay? Part of his management, and a couple of other celebrities, but I'm not gonna name them. They were very intentional when it was time to find a distiller or somebody to bring their brand. We're talking about a legend like Ron Isley, who's 82 years old. So he's lived through a lot. You know, and some of y'all know Ron Isley, who he is, the Isley Brothers? Right. This is a legend. And he's about legacy. He's lived through civil rights. He's lived through that. And his thing was, I need to make sure I find somebody that looks like me and be independent so I can have this legacy beyond. And they seeked out me.
The previous deal we had with a distiller of another color was giving us a power. And when we met Vanessa, she started teaching us, she asked us for money. She said, no, you have to have a license. You have to have all these different things in place. And immediately I said, this is who we need to go with.
Yep.
Because she's sewing in us, she's teaching us, and she's showing us how to do it right. So no matter how much money we have, it's not going to make a difference if we don't know what we're doing, especially in the literature.
Yeah.
I didn't pay him to say that either, but thank you. So, Danny?
I got it.
Yeah, I've been getting this. I see there's somebody with a hand.
Yes.
I've been getting the sign that they're going to cut somebody's throat. It might be mine. You get to be last question, by the way, just so I make that clear.
You just want to give us the mic and you go?
No, it's not me.
I just kidding.
I'm trying to keep people alive.
Yes. Don't tell my husband that. Look, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
But what's your thoughts? You were speaking about agave, and I got a bet that agave has an opportunity to get some of this tequila market share. What are your thoughts on agave going forward in the next 4 to 5 years?
I see within the next 7 years, because my pups just went in to the ground, so I see it taking on, a massive share into tequila. We now have the California Agave Council that just started. So it's a group of distillers, including myself. We're pushing the agave. So I think it's a great opportunity with the agave spirits. So look forward to not Black Mama, but Hot Mama's agave spirit, because it's a spicy agave spirit that I made already.
And on that note, I guess we'll wrap. I mean, we'll be here, but we'll cut this out for at least for now. But I imagine all you guys will be around for tomorrow, because that's when everybody gets to show their wares. I'm looking forward to tasting people's stuff and seeing what's up. So
This was wonderful.
yeah, I'd like to thank everybody who's participated. I'd like to thank Lazar and
Lazar and Michelle, you should
whole
come
team,
and say words.
your whole team.
Come here.
And anybody who's been up here putting up with me and my questions. So, all right, guys, thank you.
Lazar has something to say.